Hello, hello.
Hello. You're right. I'll
Hey,
leave you guys to it.
Hi. Sorry for the
Very
time
nice to finally
confusion.
meet you. Heard a lot about you.
Oh, really? Well, I've heard plenty of things about you as well. Nice to meet you, Mr. Nugent. I am Anne, and the
Nice to
fans
meet
are
you too.
very excited. They're excited to get to know you. I know you guys are on a time crunch, so I'm going to try and make this as fast and painless as possible. Sound good?
Of course, that sounds brilliant.
All right. Well, first, again, nice to meet you. I've
Nice to
seen
meet
and
you too.
heard a lot of things about you. Along with the Hogwarts legacy, I got to learn more about your stunts, your acting. I guess let's start with what the fans want to know. So, number one, how did you find the opportunity to voice in Hogwarts legacy? What was the audition process like?
So I went to a performing arts school called Tring Park. Between the ages of, here we go, 12 and 18, I attended that school. And in about my second or third year there, Warner Brothers approached the school asking all the students to record three different lines in three different um not accents, but almost three different, oh, what's the word? Um, Three classes. So you read the three lines in an upper class voice, then in kind of an RP middle class voice, and then in a lower class voice. And you sent those all off, and they just chose from that batch.
Okay, so a lot easier than a lot of others who have to like go in person and stuff. That's cool.
It
Um,
was. I was really,
so
really quite lucky to have got the role, actually.
Well, it's well deserved. The fans really love your voice. You added a
Thank
lot
you.
of life to Sebastian, at least in our opinion. So we think it was well deserved that you got that job.
Thank you very much. I
Um,
appreciate that.
of course. How do you feel about how much love you and Sebastian have received? Did you expect it, and did you know how big this was going to be?
So I had an inkling towards kind of my last few recording sessions. The director I worked with, Adam, who's terrific, terrific guy. He was saying that the plan is that this game is going to be big, and from the tests and demos we've done with your character and his story, is probably gonna ring out quite nicely with the fans. So I had a bit of an idea, but it still was an absolute like nothing I've ever really experienced before when it all kind of kicked off and my phone was exploding with messages and such lovely responses to the character. And I just give credit to the production team, really. I mean, they just wrote the character so well and designed such a nice story and such a nice environment for the players to go into. So yeah, I pin it all on them.
That's very humble of you. He is a very great character, but of course, you brought his voice to life. You added the emotion. Sebastian has a really great, very sad story, so we're hoping he redeems himself. But we agree, Sebastian was written very well. Do you have a favorite line that you brought to life with Sebastian?
Oh, I had a feeling a question like this might be coming. That is really tricky because honestly, over the course of 3 years or so of doing lines for this, I recorded so many. Um, I love the one that kind of became kind of quite iconic. Well, not necessarily iconic, but was definitely used quite a bit in promotion for the show, which is the time for a proper Hogwarts welcome. I think that works for the context of the story and also for people, being in Hogwarts for the first time and being there. I think that's quite a nice thing for the fan base as well as for the character and getting to know him. I like that one. I remember quite distinctly doing that one because I couldn't get it right.
You couldn't get it right.
No, I couldn't. So some lines. So I'd go into the studio and there'd be a list of 200 lines that we'd be doing that day, and we'd work through them. And sometimes the director would go, "This is kind of a bit of the context of the line. Go for it." And I'd give three versions, and then we'd move on. But after the three versions of that line, he goes, "Hmm, try it another way, and then another way, and then another way." And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I've said the line so many times, it doesn't sound like words anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But yeah,
absolutely.
no, eventually we got it, and yeah, that one stayed with.
Well, we do believe it's an iconic line. People love that line. It's one of the first things that MC interacts with Sebastian, and so absolutely a favorite line as well. So here's one. How do you feel about the choices of sending Sebastian to Azkaban or letting him live with the guild at home? Would you have wanted to see a different outcome?
I think it's quite fitting. I think that is quite the moral conundrum that someone of that age, because you got to remember they're like 15, 16 in this storyline. You just witnessed, well, what you witnessed. I don't necessarily want to spoil anything just in case anyone hasn't got there yet, but you've just seen that. What do you do? You're two people very close to this character, but I found it funny. I've seen a lot of videos that are like the contradictions of the main character because of how they're so supportive of Sebastian leading up to it, and then at the end they're like, "No, send him to Azkaban," which I find quite funny. Um, no, I think it's fitting, and yeah, I think it puts you as the player in the position of, man, how would I respond to this in real life if this really happened to me? So I think it's quite nice.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, you're right. Is when you witness that and you're only 15, 16, you're like, okay, what do I do now? So
Yeah.
it's very nerve-wracking for those who witness it for the first time. Do you still play guitar? Do you like to sing? And what are your other hobbies or interests?
Other hobbies and interests. That's good. I pick up the guitar from time to time. I haven't touched it in quite a while. Certainly not as much as when I first got it, but it comes when I feel if I get a bit of inspiration. Sometimes if I find a new band I like or a musician and I hear something, I'm like, oh, that's quite nice, and I'll go on the guitar and not necessarily play that, but it gets me back in contact with music a bit. I like that. Other hobbies, my work is my hobby really, as kind of cliche and almost a bit sad as that sounds. I love what I do. Um, I love being with my friends and working on sets and working on the Suballey productions, being with them. The fact that we get to create stuff as well as kind of hang out. It is a very social thing for us when we're working, but it works so nicely. We're stressed, but we're also supportive, and we're having a laugh, but we're also professional. It's a really nice thing. So I'd say, yeah, my hobby's my work, hands down.
That is not sad at all. That is fantastic. You have to love what you're doing, and people love seeing you on the screen, whether it's like the voice or they see you running down an alleyway. You have to love what you do. So I'm glad
Yeah.
that you enjoy that. Here's what ominous fans are called gauntlets. So we're
Okay.
all wondering, could you name the Sebastian stands? Like, what would you name us?
Oh, here we go.
Like no one could really agree with something because I don't know what you could put with Sallow.
Sallow. Sallow. Hmm. Sallows doesn't have a terrible ring to it. I'm racking my brain. Sallows. I don't know, like B-list Malfoys. Does that work? No, no, I'm kidding. Um, S- Sallows. What goes with Sallow?
B-list Malfoys.
B-list Malfoys. Yeah.
um,
Um. God, no, I can't think. You guys got any?
The Sallows.
The
The
Sallows. The
Sallows.
Sallows is
The
quite.
Sallow,
Sallows.
the Sallow. I can only message Josh too. I'll send you some ideas.
Sebby Sallows or something.
Sallows, okay. Not the
Sallows.
B-list
I
Malfoy.
like that.
Go say the Sallows. Okay, we're the Sallows. Would you reprise your role for any DLCs or future Hogwarts Legacy games?
100%. Definitely, I'd be straight there.
Okay, you really enjoyed playing Sebastian?
I really did enjoy it. I've never played a character. Characters I've played in the past have been a bit more upbeat usually. Seb is yeah, there's a lot going on there. I loved working on it, and I loved working in a voice acting scenario. I love doing a voice acting job because one moment you're having a laugh with your mates and you're this, that, and the other, and the next is like I've got to murder someone. So that's quite nice. Um, so yeah, I'll be straight there. Straight there.
Okay, great, great. Okay. So here's a longer question. Do you agree with how Sebastian dealt with his issues and trauma as a character? Would you have done what he done throughout the game or done things differently? And do you think Sebastian's purpose in the narrative of the game, how would you think his reactions and events help present his character?
That's a really good question. Um, I think I'm completely on his side with how he acts and what he does, and I even at the end, I think, yeah. Um, because I mean, he just really had no one else. I mean, any support or backlash he did get from the playable character or even Ominous, he really was on his own back, and he was really traumatized and really struggling, but so headstrong and so Slytherin that it just made sense that he would go out on his own back and go and look for a cure. What was the second part of that question?
No worries. The second part was, do you
The
think his
second
purpose?
paragraph.
Yeah, the second paragraph. Josh helped me with this, so you can blame Josh. But
What the
what
hell? I'm sorry.
what do you
Speak to
think
you after.
Sebastian's purpose in the narrative of the game? How do you think his reactions and events help present his character?
Um, hmm. So he really, everything he does, as I just said a minute ago, he's very Slytherin. He really, really embodies the strong-headedness, the ability to go for what they know is best for them, regardless of consequences or other people. I think his actions are selfish at times and with a kind of a flair of arrogance. I think that brings off that kind of charming character that a lot of people have really, really enjoyed seeing in the game. Um, I just think his constant persistence, it's not like he's, meet me here, meet me now, this is what we're doing. If it's good with you, he's very like, this is the plan. You said you're with me. If you're with me, this is what's happening. Be there or don't, sort of thing.
Oh,
I
you're
think
right.
that strong-headedness it really shows in a character. Something like that, it really gives a character good dynamics and it makes them more 3D.
Right, right. And that definitely is one of the reasons why Sebastian's such a favorite. You brought him to life and he has a story. He has trauma, he has emotions. He's not a background character, which is really great. We all love Seb. Um, 9, do you have an inspiration for how you voice Sebastian? Like how did you choose to voice him the way you did?
So we worked a little bit early on in the process with his voice. They went with the more kind of upper class part of the audition that I went with, but they didn't want him to seem um um away from other people. They didn't want him to see him as higher as other people in terms of the voice. So we kind of cut corners. So he was well spoken, but he was also a bit, like I said, there was a bit of an arrogance there. There was almost a bit of a, you know, scraping in the back alley kind of vibe that came with it as well. Um, so yeah, it was just kind of the process of finding ways to little intonations to work in and within the lines to show that as well. So he had sometimes before recording a line, I would do a laugh that Seb had, which is kind of like a like a smug kind of you what sort of laugh, and then go into the line. Really helped find the intonations and find the flow for how we're portraying the character through the voice.
Okay, good, good. So we as a whole think Sebastian has a lot of riz or flirtatious personality. Was that intentional?
No,
It
I've
was
had
not
that
intentional.
question before. It wasn't. I love that it's been taken that way, but I think it's just his kind of arrogant boyishness. It comes off that way. Comes off a bit, you know, laddish, a bit
I think it's
geezerish.
naturally you.
It might just be that.
Yeah,
No,
I
no,
think it's
yeah,
just you.
maybe it's no, no.
Okay, good to know. Well, it came out very well. People were they're completely convinced that was on purpose.
Yeah,
How did it feel voice acting and would you do it again?
yeah, definitely. As I said before, such an interesting way to explore a character because you don't know, emotions are like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get next. It's like,
I
it
love
could
that
be
better.
anything. It could be anger. It could be spite. It could be jealousy. It's just so much going on. And it makes you such a dexterous actor that, yeah, I loved it. Even though acting isn't my pursuit in life necessarily, I will definitely be there if another voice acting role uh, came about.
Yeah, we'd love to see it. You did very well. Between voice acting and being behind the scenes in production, do you enjoy one over the other?
Um, I definitely so through and through, I'll say to anyone, stunts is my thing. So performing action and physical acting in front of camera is where my heart lies. But I just love I love making movies. I love working on any form of production, whether I'm in front of the camera, behind the camera. Um, if I can do, I mean, what I get to do with Suballey is I get to wear all the hats pretty much. I mean, I'm performing stunts, I'm doing dialogue, then I'm also doing safety. I'm assisting setting up the lights and the camera, and I'm getting an input with the script and we're going to shoot it and what we're going to have in the scene, costume, la la la. So that's perfect for me. That's ideal. That's kind of why we started the company, because we love the process of filmmaking so much. We all want to do everything. So let's create a space where we can do that.
Lovely. That's awesome. It's great to have that space. I know it's hard to find a place where you're comfortable with everyone, you're comfortable with what you do, and there's always a flow. So you don't want that flow to be interrupted. So it helps to have a team. It's great.
Yeah, big time.
So as you're mentioning, you are a stuntman and coordinator. How did you get started in that personally?
So I wanted to be an actor from quite a young age. I think kind of 10, 11, I decided acting is what I want to do. I was a little attention junkie. I was the screaming kid at the party. Everyone had to look at me all the time, so I wanted to be an actor. No, I'm kidding. And like I said, I joined that performing arts school quite young and built up some skills there. I sang, danced, acted every day, as well as doing maths, English, la la la. So it became my life. And then when I turned about 13 or 14, I fell into a parkour and free running crowd near me. Um, I saw people doing incredible flips, running up walls, stuff like that. And I was like, I want to learn that stuff. I got in with that crowd. I was training every single day. I was going into my back garden, finding whatever object I could, throwing myself over it, flipping over it, running up trees, swinging off the branches, that sort of thing. And it got to a point where I was deciding, what do I want to do? Do I want to pursue acting, or do I want to pursue parkour and free running? And then someone one day said to me, oh, you should do stunts. And I went, come on, a stuntman isn't a real job. You just hear about that in the films. And then I started looking into it and I realized this is actually a possibility, and my heart was set. I remember specifically, I was 16 years old and I was like, this is what I'm going to do with my life.
16. So you already
16,
knew. How old are you now?
20.
20. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, you're a baby.
I know.
Okay.
So I keep being told.
What does it take to be a stunt coordinator?
To be a stunt coordinator, I mean, to work in the industry, you need to have been in it for a very, very long time. You need to have experience with every single array of stunt. You need to have assisted stunt coordinators for many years. You need to be really, really top of the game in the industry. But of course, with Suballey, we're independent. There's no rules. So when it comes to coordinating stunts, in terms of that, I can step into those boots and do that role on our sets. But I think for me, what's made a competent stunt performer that's kind of is trustworthy and is someone that, my friends in stunts outside of Suballey that I bring on make them go, yeah, I work for Alfie again. Constantly having a good relationship with safety, always being vocal about, how are you feeling about this? Is there anything else I can do? By all means, pull the plug at any minute. Constantly being the person that's going, wait, let's just check if this is all right. Have the stairs been swept? Has the area been checked? Is that light going to be there? Is that wire going to be there? And it's also giving creative freedom to the stunt performers and the actors, being like, what do you want to get at this? What do you think would work dynamically in this shot? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Let's make something together, sort of thing. So it's having all that.
So basically, make sure no one gets hurt in a lot of
Yeah,
plans.
if someone dies, you're not a very good stunt coordinator.
Oh God. Let's hope no one dies.
That's the skinny of it. Yeah.
What is your personal Hogwarts house?
I've done the test a few times throughout the years. And I've got predominantly Ravenclaw, but when I don't get Ravenclaw, I get Slytherin. So, probably like a 75-25 between those two.
I am myself a Ravenclaw, so welcome.
Hey, brilliant. That's good.
Would you be your favorite? Who would be your favorite characters besides Sebastian?
In the whole of the Wizarding World?
Sure, we can do that. We can do whole Wizarding World and Hogwarts Legacy. So you can
Okay.
choose two.
Hogwarts Legacy, definitely Poppy Sweeney. because
Poppy.
I love animals. I would have loved going on those little adventures with her. In the whole wizarding world, oh man, that's a really good one. The basilisk was quite cool. I'd like hanging out with the basilisk.
That'd be very cool.
Yeah, he'd be
You
cool.
did say you like animals.
Characters. I adored David Thewlis is acting as Lupin, so maybe Remus Lupin, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good character. Okay, okay.
I'd have loved to attended his classes, you know.
Have you played the game yourself on your own time, and how did it feel playing the game, hearing yourself?
So I'm not a gamer. I'll put my hand up and say I'm not a gamer. I'm terrible. But
Ah,
my little brother is big time, and a lot of my friends are. So when we first got the game, I sat down with him and I played through it. And you know, my mum was there and she was freaking out, recording it, sending it to our family. It was a really quite proud moment. It was strange because for me, when I hear the lines now, I don't hear me because it sounds weird, because it is come from me and a character that I've created kind of separately from my being. Hearing him, it doesn't sound very much like my voice, but obviously to everyone else, you know, that's Alfie. Um, but yeah, no, it was a proud moment. It was an kind of out of this world moment. It took a few days to set in. And what I did play at the game, I really enjoyed it, even though I didn't. I at no point was I kind of by myself logging in, playing it, that sort of thing. But playing it with my brother was really fun. Mates and family coming round and showing them, and you know, once again getting to be the center of attention. La la la. No.
that's good. They're proud of you, and you should be proud. It's a great achievement. Okay, were you a Harry Potter fan before the game, and were you excited to be part of the franchise?
I had seen the films, but I probably had seen bits and pieces. I wouldn't say I was a Harry Potter fan as such. I enjoyed them. But then kind of once I got the job and I found out what was going on with it, I sat down with my mum actually. We watched all 8 films in consecution over like 4 or 5 days. And from then I was like, yeah, I can see why people just get enthralled with this universe and love it so much. It was real magic. And I felt that strange feeling uh in the last film when they're all grown up and they've got kids and they're going off in the thing. I was like, oh my God, it's like the end of my childhood.
No,
I
yeah, we
felt
all
that really stuck with me. So yeah.
yeah, I feel the same way. I wasn't necessarily a fan before Hogwarts Legacy, but after the game, I started watching everything. I watched all the, Newt Scamander and all the other beasts and stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it opens up a whole new world. So Hogwarts Legacy, I know for a fact, has opened a lot of fans out to.
So that's a really interesting story, actually. I'm gonna go on a
Oh,
bit of
go
a
ahead, go
tangent
ahead.
here when it comes to the you know what I'm gonna say?
Yeah.
The Fantastic
Okay.
Beasts films. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
about all of us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cool.
So in the second Fantastic Beasts film, right? We see a younger version of Newt fighting the what's it called?
So
The shape-shifting beast.
Yeah.
Obscurus.
Obscurus?
Obscurus.
Was
Yeah.
it? Okay.
In the second one or the first one?
Fantastic Beast films. You know the beast that they keep in the cupboard that changes its appearance.
Oh, Boggart.
A boggart.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
We see him fighting a
Oh,
boggart.
during the Hogwarts flashbacks in Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yes, yeah. So in the second, we see a younger Newt Scamander.
Yeah.
Myself and Josh Bulmer and another one of our mates, Sam, who also lives here, we all sent in self-tapes for that role when we were, God,
I was like 16, 15.
yeah.
No
So
way.
that was actually like our first little nearly
Trying to break into the Wizarding
Hogwarts,
world.
yeah, breaking into all the way back
That's
then.
that's so cool.
None of us got it, but a boy in the year above us at Tring, well, me and Sam, Josh didn't attend, but a boy at that school above us did get the role, who was Josh Shea, who played the role terrifically in that film.
That's such a small world, though. That's
Yeah,
really good to know at
it was
that little
crazy.
bonus.
And he joined after we had auditioned and the film had come out, so he was quite known about when he joined. But the rest of us were like, oh, he stole our role, you know. He should have been us. Yeah, we cornered him in the locker room and gave him what for. Yeah.
Poor guy, that poor kid.
No, he's all right.
Do you feel Sebastian is walking towards a dark path or redemption?
I think if any redemption is going to occur, he's going to have to get a lot darker.
So things
I
gonna
think
get worse.
it's got to get a lot worse before it can start getting better.
Oh no, you're gonna break some hearts there. Okay, what is something about voice acting experience that most people don't know about, and what do you think has helped you the most prepare for your voice acting and film acting?
Um, so something people don't know is this is something I didn't know. This was obviously my first voice acting job, my only voice acting job. You're never in the same room with the people you're having a conversation with. Almost, never. Never once was I sharing the studio or the booth with a fellow actor who worked on it. Um, so to kind of have the goings of the conversation, you really need to make, excuse me, make the lines very ambiguous because you almost sometimes you haven't recorded the other side of the conversation. Um, so you need to kind of be ready for anything that they might then add. This is why we do multiple versions of a line. Like I said, this is the line. There's a bit of context, and then we give it three different kind of intonations. Um, how did I prepare? Um, I guess my preparation didn't really start. Of course, I had the acting training from a young age when I attended the school, but no, nothing really prepared me for the voice acting. It was a bit of a learning on the job, like I was saying. It was so many different emotions, in such a short amount of time. So I'd say it took a little while to get used to that kind of intensity. But yeah, I think I picked it up quite well, and I'm so happy I had the opportunity, and because now I can apply it to other areas of acting.
Yeah, yeah, you always learn something new. They always say there's always something new to learn. You're not gonna know everything. So that's
Exactly. You will always gain something from any experience. So
yeah,
do everything right.
yes, of course. Do you feel Sebastian resembles Draco Malfoy at all?
Yeah, come on. I mean, he's Draco's equivalent in the game, isn't he?
Yes,
Yeah,
they would say
I'd
that, which
say
is
so.
okay.
I think Sebastian knew himself more than Draco did, especially in kind of the earlier films. I think he figured out from a younger age who he was, and the kind of person he was going to be. I think Draco was still very much playing for the crowd, whereas Seb was like, I'm here, I'm doing me. That's how it is now.
Right, right. Sebastian had a goal, whereas Draco just kind of went along with it. And
Yeah, Draco, I felt, I mean, the same way Sebastian was, he was pretty much born into a position that he didn't really want to be in. He didn't want to have to deal with what was going on with his family. Neither of them wanted to deal with what was going on with their family. But I think they probably responded to it differently.
gotcha, gotcha. Okay. As an actor, what have you enjoyed both working on the game production or film production?
Um, so what do you mean? Like, what are the differences?
Um, uh, what have you enjoyed from both aspects? So, what did you enjoy most from the game production, and what did you enjoy most from film production?
What do I enjoy? Game production, I've only done the voice acting. However, it's funny actually. This time next week, I've got my first motion capture job,
Oh, everyone's
which
wondering
I
about that.
I can't say too much about. It's not for a Hogwarts Legacy DLC, unfortunately. It is
uh,
for something external, but it's a stunt mocap job, so I'll be doing some fighting and some brawling for a video game. So I'll let you know how that goes.
yeah.
But my favorite thing from working on the video game, definitely picking up the dexterity that you need as an actor to switch between all the different emotions, and kind of how flexible it was as well, being able to do a few hours here and there, and the pressure was really off, unlike working on a film production where the pressure is constantly on. There's never really a chill time during the day when you're working on a film. But then my favorite thing about working on a film production, the people really make it. I mean, you can have days where, it's all going great, days when it's not going great, days where the food's good, days where the food isn't good, days where your costume just fits so nice, and other days when you've got pins jabbing into you all over the body. But at the end of the day, the people you're with and kind of the back and forth you have, and the conversations. I think that's what really makes it. Both with Suballey on the independent game and working in big industry stuff, it's the people.
That's good. That's I think that's any industry. The people really make things successful, and so you got to have the right people on your team.
Yeah.
Other than playing Sebastian, what other roles have you enjoyed playing personally? Like, are there any characters that you have played and look inspiration to?
So I really enjoyed playing Rodney in our upcoming film Tractor Run with Suballey. He is such an interesting character because he's hiding so much, and you really need to be paying attention at so many different points to realize that he is. There is a terrific turn of events in that film. Um, I learned a lot about kind of subtlety in acting from taking on that role. You know, making it so obvious that this is your agenda when actually this is the agenda.
Right.
This is what I'm putting out. You must believe me like this, but actually there's something else going on behind the scenes, between the lines, sort of thing. So I'd say Rodney at the moment.
Cool.
That, and I got to do loads of wicked stunts and fighting in that film as well, so that was loads of fun.
Of course, that has to be a favorite. You have to add that in
Of course, of
there.
course.
If you were given an opportunity to do more voice acting, would you do it? Which I think you
Yeah.
said you would. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. Okay. So what type? Well, this is the question that everyone was scared of me to ask. What type of fan fiction would you enjoy reading about your character? Are there any particular adventures you would like to see him go on?
Yeah, I'd love to see Seb have like a massive shootout with the Krays. That would be quite cool. Maybe he could fight the shark from Jaws, that sort of thing.
Cool. Sharks and guns.
I'd love to see him like Leviosa the shark out the water and then
So Sharknado then. But have you seen? I'm assuming your editors and your team. I'm assuming you guys have seen some of the edits and the fan fiction that Seb has gone through. Do you like those?
I love the creativity that comes with some of it. There have been some times where I'm like, whoa, I can't believe like the AI, I mean, when
Right.
I'm like, whoa, that really sounds like me, and how have they done that? And my mind goes off to this whole like, what is AI capable of, which creeps me out. But no, the fan fictions themselves, they don't hurt. They're good fun. And yeah, I think it's just a reflection of how much people liked the character, which feels great.
That's good. That's good. It's all good and fun. Everyone, they just enjoy Sebastian so much. They have their own kind of personal Sebastian in their brains. So that's why fan fiction exists. We have the AIs, of course, for nonprofit. It's just fun. So they just really love your character. They love your voice. So big fans. So
We a lot of them came up when we were filming our most recent fight scene for our the feature film we're currently working on, which can't tell you too much about. Loads of points. Like I said, how we flick from being professional to just taking the mic. I'd be working on something. I'd be figuring out a part of the fight or what we're gonna do about something that someone would start playing like my voice in my ear. And I go, what the hell is that? So we had a lot of fun with the fan fictions.
Good. I'm glad.
At times.
Was it difficult to get into the mindset of an impulsive schoolboy when you voiced Sebastian? Are there any other times where you had to channel this mindset?
No, I mean I was a terrible person at school, so yeah, it was pretty easy.
Easy to
No,
put
I'm
the
kidding.
arrogance.
I didn't struggle too much, especially after I really kind of started finding the character, because like I said, I agree with his motivations. I felt for him so much that when I played into that, it came a bit easier. So yeah, I once I'd found the character, I found it quite easy.
That's good. Okay. Um, how have the people close to you reacted to you playing Sebastian?
They don't bloody leave me alone about it.
We don't.
No, honestly, in the initial like the few weeks after it came out, the stuff I received was just so kind, and from everyone, friends and family, and all the response was really nice. And yeah, it's always a great kind of talking point with people, and we have our jokes and we have our banter about it all. No, on the whole, it's been completely positive.
Good. So having seen your production company, Suballey's previous projects, are there any more projects that we have to look forward to in the future?
Is that right?
I think it's about seven.
I think it's about seven.
Currently on the go.
Seven. Seven.
Seven currently on the
Yeah, but
go.
we're just
Yeah,
strictly talking short films and features.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have got a massive backlog of stuff because now we've Savali has really come into itself this last year. We really want to properly structure how we release everything. So we've got a lot of stuff, but now we're fine tuning it. We put dates aside that as we want to release stuff to make it breathe quite nicely and we can promote it. So yeah, you've got stuff for us from the next few years for sure, for certain.
Oh, that's awesome. We're really excited about that. I mean, of course, you working for them help, but people discovering Suballey, they're like, oh, this is really cool. I didn't know stunt doubling or stunt was a thing. And everyone's starting to really watch Suballey and see what things you guys are bringing out. So that's really exciting for you guys.
I would say that's what I'm most grateful for. That I'm most grateful to kind of Hogwarts Legacy and how nicely the fan base has responded. That something I've helped build and so much of my heart has gone into is now getting an audience because of it. I love that. That makes me so happy.
It makes us happy too. I can't wait to see what you guys bring out. So I have some other questions that Josh and your team has brought to my attention. So coming up roles that you have in Suballey, the was it Emot Jake's
Yep.
sci-fi series. So what's that
Yes. So Emot is about, like I said, it's a sci-fi fiction. It is about a world where emotions are prescribed like drugs are in the modern day, or medicine is in the modern day. You've been feeling a bit down. Let's slap you with a bit of joy. You're a bit too much. You're a bit too much in the room. Let's slap you with a bit of melancholy. And it's a literal patch that you put on your nose. And what is the side effect of this? Why have the government introduced it? What form of control is this? And how is it affecting the people on the ground? How is it affecting the every day-to-day person? And then inside of that, what are we going to do about it?
Okay, that's really cool. Because before Hogwarts
Yeah.
Legacy, I was very big into Star Wars and Doctor Who, and so that seems like right up my alley. I can't wait to see that come out. All right, Tractor Run. You're playing Rodney,
Yes.
and you
Mhm.
said that. So you're excited about Rodney. Tell us about that.
So that is a story about the story starts with a kind of uh, seasoned gangster and drug runner who is showing his new apprentice the ropes, sort of thing. Things go sideways. We cut many years later. The son of that uh, seasoned gangster is now the apprentice, and the original apprentice is now the seasoned gangster. And the relationship between those two, uncovering secrets, about the past, what this drug running family is all about, this business, how they operate, and how it all kind of crashes and burns and explodes.
Okay, very exciting, very dramatic, exciting. Okay, roast pork, the birthday bear,
Roast pork.
the birthday
Uh,
bear, third horseman of the apocalypse, and
it is our baby because, oh, sorry, is that all the roles?
uh, I I think so. Yeah, tell us about roast pork. What's going on there?
Roast pork is our child because it gives us so much joy and so much bloody stress. We have been working on it for 3 years now. It's been mental. It is about, in its essence, right? I've explained this to a lot of people, and it never gets easier because it is absurd. But that's Elliot's mind. He's absurd. He creates these mental worlds that you just can't. You have to see them to believe them, to understand how they work. But in its essence, it's about kind of our Western characters of mythology: Santa, the Tooth Fairy, the Easter Bunny, those sorts of people. But in the context of this Elliot Wood universe that he's created. And in this universe, Santa in the off season, so outside of Christmas time, is doing hit jobs and surveillance jobs and wet work, that sort of stuff, and how he uses his powers for that sort of stuff. And he's been doing this for a while, and he's starting to think, I can't do this forever. The Christmas spirit is going, people are believing it less and less. Things kind of happen in his personal life, and he's like, maybe it's time to move on and give up the immortality, essentially. So he meets a woman, he takes her out, things all seem to be going fine, and then it goes sideways, and we are taken on a journey of kind of action and absurdity and moral dilemmas, which all so many different elements are introduced, and it's like, what is going on? And then right at the end, it all comes together, and we see, who's been running the show, what's been going on, why all these events have taken place, and kind of why all these characters have come together. Really, it's all so nicely connected. So yeah, that's going to be a big one. That's our first feature-length film, so that one will come out, give or take 90 minutes.
Wow. Okay, that sounds really exciting, and it does
Yeah.
sound very mental and chaotic, like you said. I'm excited to.
Those are the two best words that you could describe it: mental and chaotic.
Okay, there you go. All right. Big T, director, A-level project. What is that about? Big T.
So Big T is the film that I made in my A-level years at Tring for my film studies A-level. Suballey was it was a baby back then. I wasn't even an official member. Josh wasn't even an official member. Jake wasn't even an official member. He signed the thing kind of when I did. So it was a two-man band. It was Dan and Elliot, but we were all just mates making films. And I made this film, and obviously having kind of the friendship I did with Dan and Elliot and Jake, they were a massive hand. I got to use Jake's really expensive camera to shoot the film. And it really became something. I had two ideas for the film. I had the idea that I would submit for the A-level, which had to be 5 minutes, had to fit a certain criteria. It was made to get the grade, which I got in the end. And then I had like kind of a directorial cut. I had once I kind of had the tools that Elliot and Dan and Jake brought me, I was like, well, this is what we can do with this. We can really take it outside the box and make it something bigger than it was originally planned to be. So that's the one that we're going to produce through Suballey. It follows a young lad called Mick, who's played by my little brother Jake, and how the world has kind of neglected his mental state, and how that is now affecting him in his day-to-day life. And it's about him and his relationship between his mysterious older brother Tommy, who is Big T by nickname.
Oh, okay.
So it's a bit coming of age. It's a bit psychologically thrilling. We even managed to squeeze a bit of action in there. So
of course, you gotta have action, right? You gotta have something.
Yeah, it's gotta be. It's me.
Worm food.
Yes, that's true. Sorry, Big T will be the next one released.
Oh, okay, good thing they look.
So that would be the next one we'll see.
Okay, and I think the last thing they put down was worm food that they wanted me to learn about. So tell me about worm food.
So worm food, here we go. Worm food is the feature that we're going to undertake once roast pork is wrapped. It's kind of in pre-production. We have a script. Me and Elliot have worked day and night of it. And it's about scumbags in its essence. These guys aren't, they aren't dirt. They aren't worms. They're worm food. They're so low. They're so horrible. They're so self-centered. And I'm playing the embodiment of that, the lead character, Barb. Short for Barbara, which we get lots of giggles out, which would be quite good. It's about him and his kind of sociopathic, borderline psychopathic tendencies that he has, and how that is then manipulated by someone else. And much like roast pork, it all hits the fan. It all goes sideways. They go on this incredible journey. And yeah, a lot of action in that one. That one's going to be quite big. As the stunt coordinator, I'm very excited to take that one on.
It sounds very much Criminal Minds in there. It sounds very exciting.
Yeah, Yeah, there's a flare of Criminal Minds. Do you like Criminal Minds?
Yes, of course I do.
Oh, I watched it so much when I was younger, which sounds really bad because I was actually quite young. But yeah, I used to love that show.
Yeah, anything action, mental horror. I'm a big fan of those. So
Nice.
very nice. Okay, well, those are the questions that I had down. Did you have anything to tell the fans? Did you have any thoughts? We love to hear from you.
Just thank you all so much for the support that you've given both myself and Suballey as a company. You know, it's been a big kick up the butt to get these projects out, get this stuff out there. Um, you know, hang on to your seats because a lot of big stuff is coming, and yeah, enjoy the ride.